Hi there, my little demons and divas and demonites. Bienvenidos. Welcome back to my channel. Que es la que hay, mi gente. Estamos activados, estamos encendidos. It is I, Isa, aka the Demon Diva, and the big dog. Wow. Don't be so happy, Roman. And we are back here on my YouTube channel. And today, I went on my community tab and asked you to give me your hear me out take so that I can react, give you my opinion, tell you whether I agree, disagree. I haven't looked at them yet, so I'm super excited to see what you have to say. But before we get into it, of course, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell because I have all kinds of brand new content and series coming out now that we hit 25,000 subscribers. Thank you, by the way. I'm super inspired and I have all kinds of ideas. I really want to get things going here, so I'm excited about that. So make sure to subscribe. Also, you can hit the join button and become a member. We're going to be coming out with 2 member exclusive videos a week and 2 member exclusive streams, so I'm super excited about that. I'll be sharing the details in that later on this week. Let's get into it. You know what? Let's make it more fun. I'll start with mine. My hear me out take that I used in the graphic as an example was, hear me out, Drew McIntyre should have won at Hell in a Cell. Now, I think that the reason I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're racist, you love Drew now. And yeah, true, facts, I'm not going to deny it. But the reason behind that is because I think that, number one, I feel like Drew McIntyre sacrificed a lot more for the feud than CM Punk had to. CM Punk didn't even have to wrestle the majority of the feud, while, you know, Drew McIntyre kind of carried and still wrestled. In addition to that, Drew McIntyre obviously sacrificed, you know, his World Championship win to get that cash-in moment because CM Punk got involved. He sacrificed winning the title at home. He sacrificed his Money in the Bank briefcase win. So yeah, while we let Drew win the first match because of the involvement of Seth Rollins, to me, yeah, it's a big deal that Drew beat CM Punk on his first singles match back, but it didn't feel like a clean win. Same thing I said about CM Punk winning the second match, which was the what was the little corners match, right? Because he didn't pin Drew. So given the fact that Drew sacrificed more, and given the fact that I feel like physically CM Punk is not where he used to be. Don't come for me, CM Punk fans, it's the truth. CM Punk is just physically not what he used to be. He's a little more fragile nowadays, and I don't think that he's gonna be there to wrestle all the time. So why not put over the guy that, oh my god, that drill. So why not put over the guy that's, technically speaking, on his prime right now? So that is my reasoning behind why I thought Drew McIntyre should have won at Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, and also because I like him. Let's look at your takes. We got 17 takes here. Let me go ahead and start with William Velasquez. He says, hear me out. I think Chad Gable should have won that gauntlet match that happened way back in March for an opportunity to face Gunther at WrestleMania. Not only do I agree with your take, I think that Chad Gable should have won the Intercontinental Championship, even if Sami Zayn won it from Chad Gable. I think that would have made even more sense with the story that they told us. Look, I'm very happy that Chad Gable managed to still stay on television, and now he has a brand new stable, and they still seem to be behind him, giving them TV time, whether it's the Wyatt 6 feud, which they lost. But we still see video packages and we still see them wrestling. But I do think that Chad Gable at some freaking point needs to win a singles title. I think he deserves. I'm with you. I think he should have won, and I think he should have been the one to face Gunther at WrestleMania, and I think he should have beat Gunther. Justine says Rhea Ripley should have won the Women's Championship at Bad Blood. You know what? I love when we're all on the same page because I also agree. I don't know where you go with Rhea now. I feel like Look, I like her going crazy on Dominic Mysterio with the kendo stick. I thought that was a necessary aspect in the match. But I didn't like in the fashion on which she lost. With Raquel, who she has beaten a bunch of times. And I just don't know where you go from here. Now, Triple H is gonna have quite some time to figure it out, because obviously right now we're building for Crown Jewel, and Crown Jewel he just has to do the champion versus champion. But again, the champions feel like second fiddle to a more interesting storyline. In Naya's case with Tiffany, and in Liv's case with Rhea. We're all more invested in Rhea right now, and I just don't want Rhea to lose the momentum because of chasing the same thing and continue to lose. This whole thing started at WrestleMania, if you really think about it. She injured Rhea the day after WrestleMania. So that was back in April. We're going on to November now. And some people say they can stretch this out onto WrestleMania, where Rhea has openly said she doesn't want to keep facing Liv Morgan anymore. Like, she's over it. But I agree. I like Rhea as champion. She never really lost the championship. I don't see why not we don't get back to that. Virgil Simone 821 says Finn Balor should have won the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam last year. Man, listen, I have mixed feelings about that, because right now I'm looking at it after the fact that I know what went down with Damian Priest getting that successful cash-in at WrestleMania. However, because of how the cash-in went out and the moment that it created, I'm not mad about it, but I did want, if I'm being 100 with you, I did want Finn to win the title at SummerSlam in Detroit, and for Damian Priest to immediately successfully cash in. And that would have been the beginning of some weird stuff there. Even if you have Finn lose and then Damian Priest cash in and win it successfully, and then say, hey, you didn't win it, so somebody in Judgment Day had to. And that creates the friction. But hey, it ended up paying off a year later. Again, a lot of people have praised and criticized Triple H booking for it being a little too long term. And now that we talk about certain things, you realize how long term it is, right? Because they were teasing. I remember the meme. I mean, we have it on our clips. The freaking face that Damian Priest made of Finn Balor when he didn't win the title. Hello, darkness, my old. A meme that went all over the internet. That was last SummerSlam. These two didn't end up breaking up onto SummerSlam this year. Granted that they did go on to become tag team champions, etc. But yeah, sometimes these stories just go on for way too long. So I do think that Finn should have won at some point, because right now he just doesn't represent what he used to. And I think you can get Finn back to that level. Maybe bring the Demon back, something that you can do with him to bring back the whole Finn Balor could win. But I don't feel that way about Finn Balor anymore, and I used to. They have killed his aura as a main eventer, as a credible contender, because he saw so many opportunities. The Hell's Gate says, hear me out. Roman should have been the one to break Taker's streak instead of having Taker lose twice. I'm a big fan of Taker, but Roman is my favorite. Same. In the 90s was Kane. He was a monster. 97 to 01 was a real horror movie. Jason Voorhees. LOL. Yeah, again, in retrospective, because we know how it played out, I did like when they did it with Brock, not only because I'm a big Brock Lesnar fan, but because nobody thought that Brock was going to be the one. So it created that is one of the greatest holy shit moments in wrestling, because nobody expected it. So I did like that. And when I look at the match, that Taker, which we don't know, if the streak would have stayed alive, you never know if Taker would have continued to be inspired and putting on incredible matches. But I think the last really good Taker match that I remember was WrestleMania 29 with Punk. After it kind of deteriorated from 30, which he was concussed, but you can see how much slow moving he was against Bray Wyatt when he came back in 31. 32, I feel he was protected with the Hell in a Cell gimmick because that's like a non-DQ and you can do a lot more crazy spots that don't require actual technical wrestling, right? But I just because Roman was so hated at that time. I didn't hate him, I love him, don't get me wrong, but because Roman was so hated at that time, Roman breaking the streak after what ended up being a bomb of a main event because the match was so bad, it just it would have been, I mean, everybody hated Roman the next day regardless, but it would have been a long road for Roman. On this one, listen, he's lost twice and it's to Brock and Roman. I'll take it. Joseph Bosa says Damian and Rhea should be World Tag Team Champions. The Tag Team Champions are a joke. One defense in 4 months. Have to do a tournament to find their next opponents. Look, the tag team, I mean, I feel like SmackDown is doing a better job at highlighting their tag team talent, especially with what we saw on Friday with the tournament and the Motor City Machine Guns coming in. You have DIY, you have Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, the Street Profits. Like, there's pretty deadly. I do think SmackDown has a stronger tag team division, and I like the Bloodline with the tag team championships. I remember wanting them to break up the championships at WrestleMania, which they did, but I never saw the point on why, because the people that they crowned as champs at Mania was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and then you had the Awesome Truth. They didn't go on to do anything. The tag teams haven't meant anything on Raw for quite some time, outside of just a prop. So I think giving them to Rhea and Damian, while it would be amazing and I would actually love it, I'll be here for it, I don't think that that's going to help the case to help showcase and rebuild the tag team division. Because who the fuck is going to beat them? You know what I mean? Like, right now, they need to focus on rebuilding the tag team division and stop making these tag team titles a prop. Make them matter again. The tag team titles really matter at a period of time, and now they don't. So I'm not sure that putting them on Rhea and Damian wouldn't make them feel like a prop, or that they wouldn't make them drop it the next day like they did with Nicholas and Braun, because that's not the way it works, you know. So not for that. I wouldn't want that. Melissa Hernandez says, hear me out, Kevin Owens should have won the US Championship at WrestleMania 40. Wait, who did Kevin Owens wrestle at WrestleMania 40? Oh, it was a triple threat between Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. Yes. I think I do remember going into that match thinking, I don't care who wins, we all win, because I liked all of the guys in it. But it has been way too long since Kevin Owens has had a championship. That being said, Kevin Owens have had some iconic moments the last 2 Manias. You know, he had the return of Stone Cold in Dallas, and then last year that iconic tag title win with Sami Zayn against the Usos. So I can see Kevin Owens just saying, hey, I'm cool putting somebody else over, you know? I do remember that match being very good, even though I couldn't remember it a second ago. But I do think it has been way too long since Kevin Owens has held singles gold. Now that he's a heel, I don't put it past him to be the one to eventually decrown someone. Maybe LA Knight. He's a very over baby face right now. So stay tuned for that one. I do think he's going to have another match with Cody, though. Soul Dreamer. Damn, I sounded super Puerto Rican there. Says, hear me out. Brock should have never killed off Coffee Mania, especially for what it ended up being. Cain Velasquez sucked. Now I understand wanting to give Fox something, and Brock wrestling on TV just doesn't happen unless it's like a pay-per-view. Look, even if you wanted Brock to be the champion, and I'm not saying Brock should have ended Coffee Mania. I love Coffee Mania. I love everything it represented, right? But if at some point, as a business decision, maybe Fox pushed for this, even if you had to make the choice of having Brock win it, 6 seconds, a squash match, was not the way to go. I think that if Kofi would have went out, if Kofi Mania would have ended with Kofi just giving it all he had that night to Brock Lesnar, a crazy match where he just keeps kicking out and Brock has to continue to punish him to the point where you are yelling at the TV, dude, please just don't kick out. I think that also would have been a heroic way to end it. I'm not mad that it ended. I'm mad at how it ended. I hope that makes sense. KOD says, hear me out. Cody should have never came back to WWE. Look. He made a business decision that was best for himself. And in retrospect, as much as I hate, well, I don't hate, as much as I dislike Cody Rhodes, the character, can you blame him for the decision that he made? Look at where he's at. He would have never gotten to this level in AEW, especially where he was at the time that he left AEW, where the fans just absolutely couldn't stand him. Everybody was turning on Cody at that point. He could have never challenged for the World Championship. Like, what was there for Cody to do in AEW, especially with the lack of creative? Regardless, there was no way Cody could have gotten to the level that he got at WWE. So, yeah. I don't blame Cody for coming back. I don't like it, but I don't blame him. I do think that it does. I mean, you gotta say what you gotta say in wrestling, right? Like, but I do think it's a little hypocritical because of all the shit that he talked and how he said AEW is his life now. I can't go back. There's so many clips out there of him just talking about how this is forever for me, and then he just comes back. Fickle. Psycho 187 says, hear me out, Roman Reigns should have won at Mania 40. Mic drop. I have nothing else to say. You know, I love Roman. I never wanted Roman to lose, but my main issue is that I knew that they had nothing for Cody moving forward. This isn't even the match that they plan on doing. It was supposed to be The Rock versus Roman. My take on this is that they should have never let Cody win the Rumble. Because when the fans started expecting Cody to go against Roman is when he won the Rumble. They should have given the Rumble to somebody else that was going to call out Seth. Let Drew win the Rumble again. You know what I mean? Let CM Punk win the Rumble, and then the next day he's injured. Oops, what are we going to do? We're going to have another number one contender match per show, you know? But you give it the Rumble so the fans start expecting it. So they did book themselves into a weird corner where they had to kind of like give in. But my main issue is that I knew they never had a story for him after finishing the story. So I knew we were in for a very boring title reign. And that is not fully on him. That's also on the creative. Jackson Commander, I believe that's the professor, says, hear me out. WWE should turn Cody Rhodes into Homelander and make him heel. Do you think he could be more interesting as a heel? Now, Sheldon, the Professor Jackson, did send me some clips for me to take a look at of Cody Rhodes as a heel during his time in Ring of Honor, etc. And the only thing that I found that got my attention a little bit, because he just came off as trying hard, which is what he still does, but there was like a promo in there where he was like, I can't remember who he was wrestling, but it almost seems like he wanted to avenge his dad. And I think Cody, being someone that avenges the wrongs that were done to his dad, especially with his dad being like a big figure in NXT who train and prepare 90% of the roster today, I think that would be interesting, where he thinks he's doing a good thing, but eventually he's not. I think that would be an interesting character for Cody, but I don't know. I don't think they want to turn him heel. I don't think he wants to turn heel. And at this point, I feel like the demographic that Cody Rhodes appeals to, he works for them. So I'm not sure. Especially, we're losing John Cena in 2025. So you gotta have somebody there for the kids, I guess. But if you do something interesting with him, it could work. It could work. Anything could work a lot more than what he's doing right now. Big Brother Boy! Oh my god, you guys. Big Brother Boy is one of my favorite. I'm gonna link his channel on the description of this video. Especially, I know some of you are Big Brother fans. We'll be talking about it on my streams. Go check out his channel. I know that Big Brother is done, but he still uploads videos and he makes lists. But When Big Brother is on, when I tell you this boy kept me informed with everything going on the live feeds, he's my Big Brother angel because I don't have time to keep up with the live feeds, but he would just provide me with a daily update every day. One of my favorite people in the world, love you, BBB. Alright, he says, hear me out. They should not have Nikki Bella beat AJ's reign. AJ should hold the title of longest Divas champ. Love Nikki though. I love Nikki too. Nikki grew so much on me later on when I was like, yo, she's really trying. I feel like she adjusted with the time. I feel like Nikki saw that they were bringing in some real competition, some real women that can go, and she said, you know what? Watch me. And I feel like Nikki really proved wrong. In addition to that, as somebody that went to a lot of events, including Evolution, and I saw the fan base of the Bellas, it's insanity. I know they call it the Bella Army, but trust me, it's a real thing. It exists. Respect. But I always wonder if the thing with AJ Lee was more of a behind the scenes, she wanted to go, she wanted to be done, especially with her being married to Punk, and what was happening with Punk and WWE at the time. I don't know if she was being treated unfairly. I don't know if it was putting her in a weird position. There's a thing in my brain, and this is just me being a conspiracy theorist, but there's something in my brain that just makes me think that she really just wanted to be done, and she did what she had to do at that time. Because shortly after she left, she made a quick comeback, but then she left again, and we miss her to this day. I would like for AJ Lee to have her name in the books as the longest reigning Divas champ. You know what? I 100% agree with you on this take. AJ Lee is legendary. And you know what? I am here for the campaign that everybody's doing to try to get her back in the ring. I know Liv Morgan, Bayley, Cora J, Roxanne. Like, there are so many people right now just peer pressuring AJ Lee into coming back. I 1000% support it. I would love to see her, even if it was a quick Rumble appearance. The place would just go crazy. And with Punk being here now, I feel like it's closer than ever for it to happen. She looks amazing. She keeps posting all these pictures, and I'm like, sis, what are you doing? Like, you're ready to go. Come back to us. But yeah, I agree with your take. I think she should have been the longest reigning Divas champ. I also, because AJ Lee was such a wrestler, would love to see her have a short run, even if it's her last run, and win one of the current championships, because I would love to remember her with a World's or a WWE Women's Championship instead of that ugly, iconic, don't get me wrong, iconic but ugly ass Divas belt. Alright, Lego Brick Collector, my bestie, says, hear me out, WWE should come back to Puerto Rico in 2025. Of course, I'm going to agree with that. I don't care what anybody says. 1000% biased. Puerto Rico was the best crowd. Being a Backlash was like a religious experience, especially Bad Bunny's entrance, Selena Vega's entrance. It was such a fun show. And you could tell, like, Puerto Rico was so hungry for it. They were enjoying every second of everything. But yes, Puerto Rico, WWE should come back to Puerto Rico once a year. Lego Brick Collector also says, hear me out, AJ Lee returns in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble. Rewind this video just a little bit and you'll hear me talk all about AJ Lee, but agreed. Jill and Lynn says, Goldust as the definition of a humbug from P.T. Barnum should have been champion for a long time. You know, I'm not too familiar with the Goldust era, but there is something that I love to see is just the respect that Goldust, now Dusty Rhodes, gets. Dustin Rhodes is insane. I remember going to a house show in Brooklyn when he was still with WWE, and he had a match, and this is a house show, and the crowd went crazy for him. People just love him. So I would not mind if he had like a long title reign, but I'm not too familiar with his work. And Alex DeWayne says Cody should have pinned Solo. I'm assuming you're talking about WWE Bad Blood. And unfortunately, I don't think that should have been the case, because even though Cody was in the match and he is the champ, the match wasn't about him. That match was about Roman and his family, and Roman coming back and Jimmy reuniting. I think it would have been weird to give the pin to Cody, and that would have extended that feud that doesn't need to be extended That's it. That's all wow, guys. Thank you so much for your take. I might make this a weekly thing. I had a lot of fun with that. So maybe next week we'll do Hear Me Out, Crown Jewel takes or something like that. But I would love to keep this as a series because this was a lot of fun and I love hearing your takes. And surprisingly, I agree with most of you, or at least I can explain why I don't agree with some of your takes. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and you gotta see the outtakes of this video. I might add them at the end because I got interrupted so many times by outside noises. It's ridiculous. I'm surprised I survived it. Hashtag I survived this video. If you're watching for this long, please leave a white heart emoji in the chat. Alright guys, I love you. Until next time, adios. Mwah. Why is somebody drilling? There's somebody drilling. There's somebody with a car. That the matches just, I hate everybody with all the noises they're making today. After that, I hate it here. Fuck you! Continental Championship from, what's with all the noises outside? Why can't I just make a fucking video? Fuck you, fuck Jennifer Gonzalez, fuck todos los PNP. Fuck you. He thinks he's doing a good. I give up. I give up. Alright. I'm never gonna vote for your asses. You're disturbing my peace. I can still hear you.